Let's bring in Peter King, the mmqb.com, on his way to Ravens camp. Peter joining us on the show. Hi, Pete. Where do you want to start?
How about Riley Cooper?
Yeah, I was disappointed in the commissioner, Pete. I thought this was a great moment for him to use it as a teaching tool or set an example and have these, 70% of the league or whatever the numbers are, African-American, to look at him taking a stand here instead of putting it off on the Eagles to dole out the punishment here.
Well, this is that's an interesting point, and I've thought about 100 different things about this story. Okay, and Tony, I talked to Tony Dungy last night, and he raised an interesting point for me because Tony has been advising Chip Kelly, and as I wrote this morning in Monday Morning Quarterback, Tony thinks this is very, very much like the LeGarrette Blount story in 2009, where he almost had his career ruined, and Chip Kelly, by bringing him back onto the team and not throwing him off, throwing him overboard, believes that allowed him to have an NFL career. Maybe that's true, maybe it isn't, but I think it's certainly possible. And I think that, and I don't know this happened, but I think when the league office talked to the Eagles and said, listen, we're going to consider our options and try to get them some counseling and see what happens, I think the league basically is going to see what the Eagles do. They may have a penalty, a suspension going forward, but we'll see. I mean, this is really a totally unprecedented thing, and so I'd like to see how it all plays out before I say the league did a stupid thing here.
Yeah, I think that you'll have somebody you find, and then he shows up at practice the next day. It should have been suspended. It allowed everybody time to regroup with it. He had his apology, and I think it would have been beneficial for all involved. And he's got talent. He'll be able to maybe play, if it's not with the Eagles, with somebody else. LeGarrette Blount punched somebody, and, so he had put his career in jeopardy from that perspective. This is a guy who's already proven he can play in the NFL. So I don't know if Chip Kelly does anything or he waits for the NFL to come in and do something. But if I'm the commissioner in another sport, I think that there's punishments handed out.
Right, there could be. But, I mean, I guess the point that we don't know yet, and this is what I heard. I was in Philadelphia yesterday. And again, this sounds like a very convenient excuse. So I don't know if I believe it or not, but all I know is that what Cooper evidently claimed is that he doesn't remember saying it. And so, that is another thing that I think they'd like to know from professionals. Is it possible that you can make a statement like that while you're extremely intoxicated and have no memory of making it? So I think it's sort of a fluid situation here.
Yeah, but the problem I got with that is the story evolved where the people who had the video contacted him, and then he blocked them.
Well, that is a matter in debate right now.
Okay.
And I know that because I was there yesterday, and evidently Cooper, I think, is going to claim that he never talked to anybody directly and just saw some weird and disturbing, I heard, direct tweets to him about this, or I'm not exactly sure how that happened, but he just blocked those people and did not know that they were contacting him for that. That's his story with this. Is it true? I don't know the answer to that.
He's Peter King, the mmqb.com, his new website, joining us, Dan Patrick Show. Dan Wetzel of Yahoo Sports was on last hour. We were talking about Johnny Manziel, and he brought up an interesting take on it. He said, if I'm Johnny Manziel and his group there, I would want to do something. I want to know how the NFL is going to view me if I come forward and say, look, I signed these autographs and I got paid, or I just deny it, and then you roll the dice on it coming out. Can you see that as being any part of this where the NFL is looking at this or would look back on this to see how he handled this?
Well, I mean, first of all, Johnny Manziel cannot enter the NFL this year at all. The earliest he could enter the NFL is 2014. So this is not an NFL issue now. All this is an issue about just another pockmark. And I know some people say, who cares if the guy signs autographs for money? Well, it's like saying, who cares if somebody smokes pot? You and I can look the other way on that and don't care and shrug our shoulders, but the fact is it's against the rules. Just is signing autographs for money if you're in college, just like it's against the law to smoke pot. So, to me, it's just another pockmark on this guy. And certainly the NFL is going to see how he handles it and all that stuff. But this is a dead story to the NFL for the next 8 months.
Okay.
Because he can't come in the league this year anyway.
I know you spoke to Rex Ryan recently. What's the story angle that fascinates you the most with Rex?
With Rex Ryan?
Yeah.
Dan?
Yeah.
Yeah. To me, I just think I get a great kick out of Rex. I asked him the other day, why'd you run with the Bulls? And he said, why not? And he just has this devil-may-care attitude that he's going to live his life, and I'm going to work, 8 days a week to have the Jets win. When I'm off, I'm going to do what I want. And if you don't like me, running with the Bulls, that's your problem. And that's sort of the attitude he has. And I think that's the attitude he's taking into his team this year, which is to say, in essence, I know nobody expects us to win. Good. We are going to win, and then we'll have the last laugh. And we can feel however we feel about that. But I think Rex is in a real peaceful point in his life where he basically says, look, I probably lasted longer here than anybody thought I would, so I'm playing with house money.
But if you go with Geno Smith here and he's successful, doesn't that buy Rex another year? Is there any...
Without any question, yeah. I think. And the day I saw the Jets last week, I thought Geno Smith outplayed Mark Sanchez that day. But, understand one other thing about how this is all going to work. They are basically going to play, I think, a very sort of different kind of offense than they did last year. Last year, they were supposed to use a lot of Wildcat, and he said the other day they're going to use a lot more of it this year. Well, in strict Wildcat terms, they only used it 9 snaps last year. That doesn't include the 58, I believe, snaps that Tebow played at quarterback. But I think you're going to see a lot more Wildcat with receivers and running backs this year. And that's Rex basically saying to everybody, hey, this is what we should have done last year. I didn't have control of the offense. I'm not going to lose control of the offense again. I
know you're going to Ravens camp. Will it feel like they're the defending champs when you go there?
I think so. I think the Ravens believe deep down they're going to have a better defense than they had a year ago. Chris Canty has come in, and Elvis Dumerville has come in. Michael Huff. They've had veterans from other teams come in and play very well in training camp. Darryl Smith, who's been a find from the Jacksonville Jaguars, is going to come in. He may be playing alongside a rookie, Arthur Brown, and that may be, that may be the legacy of Ray Lewis. One veteran, one rookie in there in the middle to replace Lewis. And to to basically bolster what had been a real flagging area of the team last year. So, to me, I think that the Ravens are happy to have turned the page. Nothing against Ray Lewis, nothing against Ed Reed, but I think in football everything must change. It's not always pleasant, convenient, smooth. But I think the Ravens are happy to be moving on and having some new blood there.
Yeah, if Pitta was there, I just think he's so valuable. And
he's a huge loss. And it is only Pitta. It isn't only Pitta, Dan, but on our site, either today or tomorrow, we're going to run a story, a really good, insightful story by Greg Bedard about missing Pitta and missing Bolden. and how that's really going to impact this offense. And to me, the answer has to be not play. Two of your best weapons on offense are Ray Rice and Bernard Pierce. And just because they're both running backs, that doesn't mean that Rice should play 700 snaps and Pierce 300. I think they both ought to play a lot. And I wouldn't be surprised if Jim Caldwell is going to get both of them on the field at the same time, early and often this year.
Good to visit with you, Pete. We'll check in with you on your road through all the camps. But thanks for joining us.
Yeah, thank you, Dan. Take care.
Peter King, themmqb.com.